Hello folks. Okay, just wanted to do a quick rundown for quiz 3 coming up on Friday. Usual deal, it covers pretty much everything to date. I'll talk in a minute about specific topics. Goes from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. our time. You've got 50 minutes once you start. Questions randomly ordered, same format as before. You can't go back to a question once you've moved on. I do want to talk about the rules for the exam. The department chair has asked us to be a little clearer on the rules, so we'll talk about that in just a minute. For this one, it's basically 5 larger questions, so longer answer. There's going to be a bunch of written questions and then a couple of applied questions on makefiles. So for the material, we're looking at specification writing. So this could involve things like I give you some specifications and you critique them, how could they be better written, or what are the weak points of those specifications. Or it could involve, I describe kind of what the user wants and you write specifications for them, or kind of what's desired from a function or a program and you write specifications for it. Obviously this has got to be geared towards something you can do in about 10 minutes, but that's the idea. So question or two on specifications. A question or two that'll be discussion on design considerations. So things like the coupling, cohesion, some of the idea of designing for appropriate balance of where actions take place. So again, if you've gone through the design material, this will be a discussion style of question. Might be a case of I give you some code and ask you to look at it and talk about the coupling and cohesion within it. Is it a good example or a bad example? But those would be the styles I would anticipate. And then finally, some makefile questions, and those will be more applied. So it might be a case of, I give you a makefile and get you to describe what happens if blah, or it might be a case of I get you to write a small makefile. That would have to be something that you, again, could do in 10 minutes or so, or get you to modify a makefile, so make appropriate use of variables, that kind of thing. So you should brush up on your skills with makefiles and the syntax for them and the writing of them. Yeah, that will be the plan. Again, 5 questions, figure maybe 10 minutes a question would be about the right idea. And again, you might have to read some basic C++ code, either for the specs questions or for the design questions or for the makefile questions for that matter. And of course, you're going to have to be working with makefiles, so you are going to need to know the syntax for those. All right, in terms of making the rules for quizzes a little bit more official, again, the idea is everything you do for your quizzes and exams is supposed to be individual work. Right, you've got to cite any resources that you use. Right? Obviously, you're online when you're doing this, so if you do use resources from someplace, you do need to tell me where that information came from, other than things like the course notes and material that I've provided. It is expected to be individual work. Right? You're not supposed to be communicating with anybody else during the exam. So, that includes messaging, emailing, video, audio, screen sharing. Don't work in the same room as somebody else at the same time as they're taking the exam, or actually don't work in the same room as somebody who's in the course while you're taking the exam. That's a little too dicey. That comes pretty much under the category of screen sharing, I would say. Obviously, don't access files from somebody else that's doing this information for you, right? Accessing shared documents, all that sort of thing, all pretty much common sense. Don't use no communication between you and anybody who can help you on the course. Whether that's by writing things down on paper airplanes and throwing it to each other, or using tin cans with strings. Again, no communication with other people during the exam. So, just to make that a little bit more official, again, the quiz rules you'll find at the start of each quiz now as well in the description. So just so you're aware of that and thinking of that ahead of time. I don't think there's any big surprises in there though. And as usual, there's the collection of links if you need any of the tech help with VIU Learn or with your accountants or whatnot. So I will leave it there. Yeah, holler if you have questions, fire me an email, or catch me during office hours, and we'll see how we go.